Good morning. Welcome to Delta Media Group's Tech Tuesday. As you can see, I have the company owner, president, and CEO, Michael. I always want to say Menard. I do. Michael Meinert here with me today, and we're going to go over something special for you. So, normally we do these as a training video, but today it's going to be more of an introduction into what's coming. So this is going to be what you'll start to see of the new back-end system, and then today we're just going to kind of go over it and give you an idea what it's about and what it's going to do for you. And then next week we're going to get really in-depth with it. So without further ado, what do you think?
Well, it's good to be here. It's my first time on Tech Tuesday, so I'm not used to doing live on-air video casts. So this is interesting for me. I'm used to being able to record and re-record things.
So overrated.
Yeah, I think we'll work through it. But yeah, this morning we wanted to do just kind of a brief introduction into the new DeltaNet. So the DeltaNet version 5. We're already on, it's hard to believe, version 5 of the DeltaNet. But we wanted to discuss that a little bit and felt that before we gave in-depth demonstration or preview, which you'll see next week from Harley, is we want to get into just a high level what this is about so you can understand the direction that this is going and what you're about to have. So a few things that I do want to go through, and I think this is really important, is that with the new DeltaNet, when we're ready to launch this here very, very, very soon, is that there's absolutely no loss of functionality from the current version of the DeltaNet, which that's a big deal. This version 5, has actually taken us nearly a year to get ready because of all the functionality that we have and all the features. Took a long time, so there was absolutely no loss of functionality. But this also changes the system a little bit in that we go back to something called a rapid development platform. And for all of you non-techie people on this or watching this video, what that basically means is that we can quickly test and deploy new features. That's kind of the best way I can phrase it.
And that's going to be nice for a lot of people. I mean, especially when, we've had talks, I've talked to people who are administrators of companies before, and they run into issues where, there's something really specific, that's something that they need that's going to really work for their business. That might not work necessarily for everybody else's on the platform, but still, with something like that, we can deploy custom features like that a lot more easily now than we could before.
Yeah, and really that takes me kind of back to a flashback a little bit. So back to 2001, 2002, when actually in 2001 we released the first DeltaNet. So that was the first real version of the DeltaNet that we had that our users could access and manage their system. But it was kind of neat at that time because we could talk with clients and hear of new functionality that they needed or were looking for, and we could quickly launch that functionality. And some of that was very major. So even our lead distribution platform was being built in 2001 and launched, in 2002, which is almost 15 years ago now.
Yeah,
which is
that's
hard to believe.
It's about a year after I graduated.
Yeah. But another big change with this platform is that it goes 100% mobile. So not only does it operate on the desktop computer and tablets, but this version is actually built for smartphones. And so that is a very, very big change for us, to go to that and to make that change. And I think this kind of goes, to the heart of how real estate is done. So those of you that are in the real estate business, you know that you're not sitting at a desk in an office in front of your computer. We all have smartphones. So here's something hard to believe. The first iPhone, I think, was released in 2007. So we really haven't had them that long, but next year is going to be 10 years.
Yeah, they've changed the world. Smartphones in general, since they've come out, that's all we do now. I mean, I talk to agents all the time who say that they would use the system more if they could use everything on their phone because, they're never in front of a desk. They never have time to pull out their laptop or their tablet. So now they can just pull out their phone and actually do everything they need to do.
Right, and speaking of that, kind of the nostalgia of the smartphone, in thinking back to 2001, it's hard to believe that in 2001, and I don't know if I'll have all these facts correct, but the first iPod was released in 2001. I remember having that a 40 meg, 1,000 songs in your pocket, I think was the marketing.
Yeah, that was a huge deal. You could fit a whole bunch of CDs, and all you had to do in a pocket, it never skips or anything.
Digital satellite radio didn't exist.
Yeah.
It was just now being launched or created. So there were a lot of things going on at that time. So it was very, very early in technology. But I want to go ahead and show a few screenshots as well of the new DeltaNet. I think as we go through and show these, something that's very important to understand is what is the purpose of the new DeltaNet? Why are we doing this? Why do we really do a new version of it? Why don't we do just an app for the agents or different things like that? And those are all things that we considered over the past couple years. And really, I think it goes to the heart of what we want to accomplish. And I think, especially for you, Harley, with running tech support, it goes, and you can really speak to this on how, like you mentioned, the realtors are on the go. So the number one thing of the new DeltaNet is we wanted to empower the users, so the realtors and the administrators, to be able to do business from anywhere from their smartphone. And when I say do business is, anything that you want to do, you can do it from your smartphone. From writing a blog post to, I think, responding to a lead is kind of a, we assume we're going to be able to do that, and that of course we can do, but it's all the little things that you want to do.
Yeah, and things that you don't even think about until when you actually have to do them. You sit down and you're like, there's something that changed on my homepage, and I need to get in there and update this phone number real quick, and you don't realize that you need that kind of functionality until you don't have it when you need it.
Right. So being able to do that from your smartphone at Starbucks.
So now you're in the middle of a showing. When you sit down and realize that you forgot to do something on your website, you can take care of it right there.
Right. So that was number one, is we wanted to empower the users on mobile. The other thing that we wanted to accomplish, which is kind of assumed, but we want to, with the new DeltaNet, we really want to make the users more efficient. We understand that everyone's busy. Life is so busy right now. We're busier than we've ever been. So we really want to empower our users to be more efficient in their business and what they're doing, so that they can actually do more with less work. That's the purpose of technology, to do more.
The key is finding a problem and then finding a solution to that problem.
Right.
So whatever makes our lives simpler.
Yeah, and one of the things that we have always done with that is Delta never sought to, and I'll use the term revolutionize the industry. We always looked from its beginning in 1994. We always looked to bring technology into the industry. So not necessarily change how the industry works, but say, okay, how's the industry work, and how can technology make that better? How can we apply technology to the principles of the business? And we still hold to that today. And I think the third thing that we want to do with the new DeltaNet is we really want to help our users, so the realtors predominantly, stay connected with past, current, and future customers. So CRM is a heavy focus of this, and the automation of some of that, the integration. You're going to see a lot of integration with this, especially as the months go forward. We already have a list of changes that we're working on with the new DeltaNet. So that's kind of the high level of what we're doing. But let's go ahead and show some side-by-side screenshots just so you can see what this looks like. So on the screen we have both a desktop or tablet version and a mobile view of that same section in the new DeltaNet. So you can see that it's full functionality there is on mobile devices as it is on a desktop device. So whether you want to write a blog post,
even if you have fat thumbs like me, it's could work out pretty well.
Sending an e-card or working with CRM, all of those things that we take for granted that really should be just very easy to do. Exist in here. So again, the only difference, really, if we want to boil it down, the only difference with a smartphone in comparison to your laptop computer or a tablet, if you have one, is the size of the screen. It still has all that computing power. So yeah, responding to a lead, or actually, adding a new customer that you just met at an open house. You want to quickly add them. Very, very easy to do. even just responding to leads and talking about making the realtors more efficient, even response templates. If you're responding via email or if it's phone or call, easy tap and call.
And that's something we've had interest in before.
Yeah.
I know people have asked about that quite a few times, just to simplify replying to a lead, because most of those replies are pretty similar to one another. So it'll be good to be able to have those available.
Right, and really what's important with a lot of this is we'll hear, especially if you pay attention to any of the coaching or the training when it relates to sales and business in general, is you want to respond to leads quickly. Really, the measurement now is within minutes, a few minutes, as opposed to hours. I remember back in 2001, in 2002, the goal was to respond to a lead the same day. Now it's definitely within an hour, if not less. Mm-hmm. So, as a matter of fact, I saw an interesting statistic that was shared at a presentation a couple weeks ago, where if you get a lead in the morning and the difference in responding to the lead right now versus later this afternoon is you're over 4 times more likely to close that deal if you respond within 60 minutes as opposed to later the same day. So it's some really interesting.
Yeah, and that's kind of amazing
statistics.
if there would be that huge of a difference just in what seems like a small time period.
Right. So, even editing listings, but anyhow, Harley, you're going to be going through all of this.
Yep, we'll go through all
and
this
showing all of
next
these
week.
things. So next week, Harley's going to be showing a demonstration of the agent side of version 5 of the DeltaNet, which is pretty much ready to launch, actually. So I think you'll be surprised when you see it. The administrative training will come a little bit later, but I do want to point out here, just in this video, that both the agent side and the admin side is 100% mobile. So speaking from an admin
so
side,
that's going to be huge for admins also.
Yeah, a new realtor in the company, you can add them from your smartphone. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be sitting at the office.
Yeah, but they're off at a conference or anywhere. They're in NAR one day.
Right.
They can just take care of any kind of administrative duties right there from their phone.
Right.
So,
yep.
And I'm pretty excited about this also. I mean, I've only really gotten in depth in the DeltaNet 4 since I've been here. So the DeltaNet 5 this is all brand new to me. Don't worry, it's not too brand new. I can figure things out pretty quickly. So I should know it well enough to explain it to you as soon as next week, believe it or not.
And to appease any anxiety that there may be, we made an extreme effort to make sure that the new DeltaNet was easy to transition to. The transition from version 4 to version 5 was an easy transition, and I believe that you will recognize that next week when you see Harley's training on it. And we have previewed this system to a few companies already, and they've all made that comment that, wow, this seems like an actual, an easy transition, something that's not tough to do.
Yeah, and those kinds of transitions, setting the system up that it's capable of that is no easy task when you're making changes this in depth. So I'm excited. I think everybody's going to like it. I think it's going to work out really well, and I think it's going to simplify a lot of lives out there.
Yeah, so next week, join Harley, and he'll walk you through DeltaNet version 5 and give you a preview of it, in-depth preview. So thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks a lot. See you next week.